For a change of pace, instead of building another Revell kit, I decided to build another Tamiya kit. It's quite a simple kit and also a pretty brilliant kit. Every part fits together perfectly with minimal effort needed to make this into a beautiful looking model. So just getting started plowing through the box and some of its contents, looking for some of the parts that I need in order to start the body work, which turned out to be inside of the bag with the body. So there were some small tabs on the front bumper and on the hood which needed to be cut off and removed in order for it to fit together. Since the bumper is going to be glued on before painting, I did a small test fit. Now that I'm happy with the way it fit, I put a piece of masking in the center to keep it as I want it to stay there. Took out some Tamiya extra thin cement and glued the bumper in place. Now first I glued the sides so that it's stuck on there, then I removed the piece of masking and glued the middle section. Just like any other kit, this kit also has mold lines, so I took out my Edding 400 permanent marker and marked them all around the body so that I know where to sand them down and don't accidentally miss one. This also helps because if you remove the black line, the mold line should also be gone. For the big flat spots, I used some sanding sticks, and now you're probably wondering, where can I get those? I absolutely have no idea. A shop in the Netherlands where I live sells these, and that's pretty much the only place where I've found them so far. Though you could also use some of those women's nail files, those work perfectly as well. Now for the rest of the pieces I used some 600 grit sandpaper, and also to give the body a general scrub and rub, also some 600 grit sandpaper in order for the primer to stick to it a lot better. The panel lines all around the body are pretty good, but some needed some more depth and a little bit more width. So I took out my hobby knife and turned it around so that I was scribing some of the material out instead of cutting it away. And when I'm done scribing it out, it is a lot deeper than the standard panel line would be. And with it deep enough, I just turn the blade 90 degrees sideways and widen it a bit, just to make the paint go in it a lot easier and not run the risk of filling up the panel lines and not seeing them after the body is painted. you have tried to scribe out panel lines before, then you know you are gonna miss some and shoot outside of the panel line, scribing into the body, which you obviously don't want. So what I do is I take out my permanent marker and mark the spots that I missed outside the panel lines, and then I know where to sand and fill later on. I firstly just sand it down lightly to see if it will be removed with just some sanding. If sanding is not enough, I take out some filler, fill it up, let it dry, sand down the filler, and move on to priming. With all of my shootouts filled up and the panel lines nice and deep, I finally glued on the spoiler holders on the rear and then moved on to applying a couple of coats of primer. Remember to take it easy on this first coat and go a bit heavier on the second or maybe even third coat to build the primer up. With the second coat of primer now applied, you could let it dry for about 30 minutes and move on to applying some color, or let it dry for about 60 minutes and sand it down a bit smoother with some 1000 grit sandpaper, or maybe just fix some of the mistakes or small bits of dust that have fallen into it. If you're satisfied, just let it dry for a bit and move on to applying your color.